Hey guys, it's Ken from Rogers Rigs. Wanted to show you what we're doing here in the kitchen today. It's one of our summer favorites. We have a London broiled steak over here, about 3 pounds. It's a kind of tougher kind of meat, so we generally like to marinate it and do a few other things with it. So we're going to do our normal marinade that we do, which is Worcestershire, a little bit of hot sauce, and some Italian dressing. Today we didn't have any Italian dressing, so we kind of made our own a little bit. And in it we put a little bit of garlic, some crushed red pepper over here. We got our balsamic vinegar we decided to use, a little bit of vegetable oil, and then we add some hot sauce in there along with your Worcestershire, and I also forgot the Parmesan. And we make this together, and then we add about, somewhere in the neighborhood of a couple teaspoons of the hot sauce, depending on what you guys like. But it actually, all those little acids and things like that help to break this down a little bit. So what we're going to do is what's called a reverse sear, and the reverse sear is basically you're cooking your meat at a low temperature for a longer period of time so that it stays juicy and gets tender on the inside, and then you sear it after you start cooking instead of searing it first. We're going to cook it in a sous-vide machine that we have over here. These are really cool. It's like a water bath, and so we're going to take our vacuum sealer, we're going to take our meat, we're going to put it in a bag, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to run it with our Immersion Circulator here that we have. Pretty much what we're going to do today is we're going to run it for about 3 hours because we have a very tough or very thick cut of meat here. So we're going to take our meat here, just going to run it right inside that bag. Use a larger bag pre-made so that we're not having to worry about it so much. And then our marinade, really simple, just goes right inside our bag and give it some kind of a flavor through all. We just want to make sure all the meat's being touched by the liquid if possible. We're not actually vacuum sealing so much as we are just sealing the bag. So we're putting a little pressure on it, but not a lot. We just want to make sure the bag is sealed. So we're just going to take enough air out of it to get it close down to where it's there. And once we see it starting to suck on the liquid and moving it up, we'll take it in right there. We'll stop the sealing. Just want to get all that seasoning touching the meat as much as possible. So our meat in here, we're going to fill this with water. One thing you do have to watch, I always take a little bit of excess bag that's here, keep it away from the Immersion Circulator, and that way it doesn't get into the vent that's there. And Landon, if you want to come here, you can show them what I'm talking about. Right down here, there's a little intake right here, and we just want to keep that clear. It'll just stop if it doesn't have enough circulating through it right down there. So once we got that in there, we'll go get our water. And we just need enough here to really cover everything. If you need to keep it, if it starts floating, like it doesn't want to sit there, like this one does, you can always stick a plate on top of it or something heavy that's not going to be bothered by water. And start up, hit that button there on this particular unit. Got a little spinning thing here. We're going to go up, bring it up to 145, which we're at. We're going to go over to our time. We're going to set it for 3 hours. Check there, and then we hit our start button, and it's starting to go. So we're open this up, and you can see what it does, and it's just circulating like mad. So there's a heating element inside this down here, so it's going to circulate that cold water through, heat it up, spit it back out, and just keep going and going and going. So in about 3 hours, it ought to be good. We also have, so you guys can see, we've got our stick thermometer here, which we can use our probe here to go through the bag, and actually have a little trick to do that, to take that temperature later on to reseal the hole. We basically just use a piece of Gorilla Tape and just go back over so you're not getting your water. And if for some reason, you didn't have Gorilla Tape, the bag's big enough that if we were to grab the bag here, I could basically make a hole right through the top of the bag here and keep this above water. Go get my temperature from down there, and once inside the meat, just kind of crinkle the bag and get it in there, and then I can just keep that above water, being that this isn't moving. And that's it. We'll check on this in 3 hours. Look at that beauty. Right on a hot grill. Look at her go. That is going to be wonderful. We've left all the fat and everything on. We'll trim it up later. Go inside and rest for about 15 minutes or so. And being that we went a little bit over on our temperature, I'm not going to tent it. by tenting it, you can end up getting another 10 degrees or so in your temperature, and I don't want that. I don't want to overdo this one any longer, so we're just going to take this one in the way it goes, and hopefully it'll be delicious. Hey guys, we're back inside. We're here. We've got our dinner. We got our mashed potatoes. We got our grilled vegetables, and we have this beautiful steak that you got to see. This thing's awesome. It came out great with the grill marks and everything. We have not cut it yet. We've waited 15 minutes to do this. So now, look at all the juice come out of that right off the top. Not even doing anything yet. All right, we're gonna do this a little bit different. We're just gonna cut it down the middle, see what it looks like, and go from there. See what we ended up with. Okay guys, so it's beautiful. Look at you got a ton of juice coming out of this. We normally take this, and one of our favorite things to do is just slice it thin, eat it with some vegetables, and do that. And we can, but then we'll also take it sometimes. We'll go ahead and put it. One of the things my sons love a lot. We take like a garlic bread, slice this thin, put some cheese on it, put it into the broiler, let it just go ahead and melt the cheese down, and it's excellent. So, and we got, again, tacos, fajitas, everything. One of the things that we're going to do some other time is we're going to take some butter, some mozzarella steak seasoning, and we're going to put that in that sous-vide bag with it and just sous-vide it in that butter and let it just go. It's delicious. We did it once or twice before with some venison, and again, this is something you can do with venison, you can do with elk, you can do with really lean meats and still keep it juicy. Works out very, very well. Right here. So anyway, we got your middle and we got your end, and you're fairly close as far as doneness between the two. So it's all the way through, even on this very thick. I mean, this steak, this piece of meat here is like 2.5 inches thick, and you've got the same consistency all the way through. That's one of the great things about sous vide. So,